Have you ever been lying perfectly still? Your room is quiet. Your eyes are closing. You're finally drifting off, and then jerk. Your entire body suddenly jumps. Maybe your leg kicks. Maybe your arm twitches. Maybe your shoulders suddenly move like you just fell off a cliff. And for 1 second, you're completely awake again. You might even think, what the heck just happened? The strange part is, your body may have done it on purpose. This bizarre movement is called a hypnic jerk, and it happens to a huge number of people. But why? Why would your brain suddenly make your body move right when you're trying to fall asleep? And why does it sometimes feel like you're falling? Tonight, we're going inside that strange moment between being awake and being asleep. Because your body is doing something surprisingly complicated. The strange moment between awake and asleep, falling asleep, isn't like flipping a light switch. Your brain doesn't instantly go from awake to asleep. Instead, it slowly changes state. Your muscles begin relaxing. Your breathing becomes slower. Your heart rate starts to decrease. Your thoughts become less organized. And your brain begins producing different patterns of electrical activity. You're entering the first stage of sleep. This is the moment when something strange can happen. Your muscles may suddenly contract. A finger might move. Your foot might kick. Your whole body might jerk. And sometimes you experience an incredibly realistic sensation of falling. You might feel like you're stepping off a staircase, falling out of bed, or suddenly dropping through the floor. Then your body jerks and you're awake. This is known as a hypnic jerk, also called a sleep start. And despite how dramatic it feels, it's usually completely harmless. But scientists still don't have one single explanation for exactly why every hypnic jerk happens. Instead, there are several leading ideas. And one of them is particularly fascinating. Your brain is shutting your body down. Think about what happens when you're awake. Your brain is constantly receiving information from your muscles and joints. It knows where your arms are, where your legs are, whether you're standing, sitting, walking, or lying down. Your nervous system is constantly monitoring your body, but as you fall asleep, that system begins changing. Your muscles start losing their normal level of activity. Your body becomes more relaxed, and your brain is transitioning between different states. One theory suggests that a hypnic jerk may happen because of a brief burst of nervous system activity during this transition. Basically, your brain is changing gears. And sometimes, the gear change isn't perfectly smooth. Imagine driving a car and suddenly shifting gears too quickly. You'd feel a little jolt. Something similar may happen during the transition into sleep. Your brain is moving from a highly alert state toward a deeply relaxed state, and occasionally, a burst of activity travels through the nervous system. Your muscles respond. Jerk, and suddenly, you're awake again. But there's another theory that explains something even stranger. Why does the jerk sometimes feel like you're falling? Why it feels like you're falling this is where things get really interesting. When you're lying in bed, your body is completely supported. You're not actually falling. So why can your brain create such a convincing sensation? One possibility involves the sudden relaxation of your muscles. As you're falling asleep, your muscle tone decreases. Your brain is also receiving different sensory information than it does when you're awake. And, for a brief moment, the brain may interpret those changing signals as movement, especially if your body suddenly twitches. Your brain could essentially say, wait, are we falling? And it reacts. Your muscles contract. You jerk awake. It's almost like your brain briefly hits the emergency button. There's even an evolutionary theory about this. Some researchers have suggested that these sudden movements could be an ancient protective reflex. Imagine an early human sleeping somewhere elevated, perhaps in a tree or another dangerous location. A sudden loss of muscle control could theoretically create a sensation of falling. A quick muscular reaction might have helped wake the person up. Now, there's an important catch. This evolutionary explanation is still a hypothesis. Scientists don't have proof that hypnic jerks evolved specifically to stop humans from falling out of trees. But it's an interesting possibility. And there's another reason you might experience these jerks more often. Your modern lifestyle. Why it happens more when you're exhausted? Have you ever noticed that these sudden jerks happen more when you're extremely tired? That's not necessarily your imagination. Certain conditions appear to make hypnic jerks more likely. One major factor is sleep deprivation. If you haven't been getting enough sleep, your brain and nervous system may be under more stress, and your transition into sleep can become less smooth. Another factor is stress. When you're stressed, your nervous system can stay more alert than usual. Your body may be exhausted, but your brain is still saying, stay ready. That's a terrible combination for falling asleep. You're physically tired, but mentally activated. And when you finally begin drifting off, your nervous system may produce more noticeable movements. Caffeine can also play a role. Coffee, energy drinks, pre-workout, certain sodas, even some teas. Caffeine stimulates the nervous system and can interfere with your ability to relax and fall asleep. So if you're drinking a giant energy drink at 10 p.m. and wondering why your body suddenly launches your leg into the air at midnight, your nervous system might have a few questions. While your brain can create some really weird sleep experiences, hypnic jerks aren't the only strange thing that can happen while you're falling asleep. There's an entire collection of unusual experiences that can occur during this transition. You might hear a sound that isn't actually there. A loud bang, a voice, a door slamming, or even what sounds like an explosion. This can happen during a phenomenon known as exploding head syndrome. Despite the terrifying name, it isn't your head exploding. It's a sleep-related sensory experience where a person may perceive a sudden loud noise while falling asleep or waking up. You can also experience extremely vivid images, faces, shapes, lights, people, entire scenes. These experiences are called hypnagogic hallucinations. And again, they can sound terrifying, but they're often simply a result of the brain transitioning between wakefulness and sleep. Your brain isn't necessarily broken, it's changing modes, and sometimes the transition gets weird. So, is your body actually trying to wake you up? So let's return to the original question. Why does your body shake before you sleep? The honest answer is, we don't know exactly. Hypnic jerks are believed to involve sudden muscle contractions during the transition into sleep, but scientists still debate the precise mechanisms behind them. Several factors may increase the chances of experiencing them, including sleep deprivation, stress, and stimulants such as caffeine. And the falling sensation may be connected to the changing relationship between your brain, muscles, and sensory systems as you enter sleep. So that sudden jerk isn't necessarily your body malfunctioning, it's more like a tiny glitch during one of the most complicated things your brain does every single day. When should you pay attention? For most people, an occasional hypnic jerk isn't something to panic about. But if you're experiencing frequent or severe movements, especially if they happen throughout the night, are seriously disrupting your sleep, or come with other unusual symptoms, it's worth talking with a healthcare professional. Because not every movement during sleep is necessarily a hypnic jerk. Different sleep-related movement disorders can have different causes. So the important thing isn't to diagnose yourself from a YouTube video. It's to notice patterns. How often does it happen? When does it happen? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you consuming caffeine late in the day? Are stress or lifestyle changes making it worse? Sometimes the answer is surprisingly simple. So the next time you're lying in bed, your eyes are closing, your muscles are relaxing, and suddenly jump. Don't immediately assume something is wrong. You may have just experienced one of the strangest moments in the human sleep cycle. Your brain is changing states. Your muscles are powering down. Your nervous system is adjusting. And for a split second, your body basically says, wait, what was that? Then you fall asleep. Until it happens again tomorrow night. And now you know why.